And now, we invite you to relax, just pull up a chair, as the dining room proudly presents your dinner.
Hi everybody, I'm Athena. This is Aegeus Dolls. Welcome to my doll room. Come on in. Today we're talking about Mattel's Once Upon a Whimsy, featuring Disney princesses Ariel from The Little Mermaid, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and Tianna from Princess and the Frog. So basically, Mattel is reimagining these Disney movie moments with whimsical fashion flair. What are these Disney movie moments? The three dolls each have a song from their movie that they are based off of. So let's see. For Ariel, it is Daughters of Triton. For Belle, it is Be Our Guest. And for Tianna, it is My Belle Evangeline, which her firefly friend Raymond, I think, sings about his crush, the moon, because he thinks it's a firefly.
My Belle Evangeline.
That ain't no fire!
So when did these release? They release August 1st at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Mattel Creations. And they are collector grade dolls, so there is limited availability on that. And the MSRP, which is the price point, is $75 to $80. Now, on Mattel Creations, it's $80. You might be able to get it on Amazon and possibly other secondhand retailers for cheaper. So just be at a lookout for this. By the time this video comes out, they will be out. But there are limited availability, so be fast or be on the secondhand market and budget for that. So we're going to look through the packaging first look, first impressions, outfit breakdown, hair and face, body and articulation, accessories, and then we're going to compare and talk about the collectability. Is this worth having in your collection? Let me know. That would be great.
So you got anything you want to tell me?
Okay, so I am using the website youloveit.com. The sources in the description to look at these dolls and to compare them. I love this website. It's amazing to get up-to-date news on the doll world as well as sneak peeks. I am not affiliated with them in any way. However, I would like to be. Reach out. Woohoo!
You think?
Shameless plug.
Great Father who loves us and named us well.
Okay. First look at Ariel. I love the eye movement in this. So we have this beautiful jacket that looks like a shell and has the pearls. It has this beautiful printing pattern on it. It has these beautiful pearls with adhesive on them, or they're sewn in. I'm not 100% sure. And then we have this fabric is gorgeous. And the way that it is structured, loose, but like draped and but can hold its shape is very, very high craftsmanship, which I really applaud Mattel for doing something like this. So we start here and then we see her red hair and it brings us around here to down there. So we, from the peripheral of our eye, like travel down to the whole dress, and then we're caught again the attention with the pinkish red salmon color of her shoes, and so we get the whole eye movement of this piece of art, in my opinion, not just a doll. So personally, I love the pose. I think they did a really great job, using the arms to, add structure to the jacket as well as just have an interesting look and like for a piece of art. So I think that is beautiful. Again, I think the fabric choice is great for both the bottom of the dress and the jacket. Now, the middle of the dress to me looks like ordinary fabric you could use for a doll dress with tulle over it. I understand why they use the tulle. That makes sense. It's reminiscent of the ocean, the way they have it, styled and pulled here. And, it also is reminiscent kind of the shell and her mermaid tail. So I think that makes sense. I just personally would have liked a higher quality fabric. Like, it doesn't have to be this thick fabric, but I don't know, maybe chiffon or something. I know that's a lot to ask for an $80 doll, but I'm just saying, my critique. we can have a little constructive feedback here. So I think that is, nice in and of itself. Now, the jewelry, both the earrings and the necklace are very nice. There's painted details on the necklace, which is always a must with a collector doll, in my opinion. However, I think the necklaces shouldn't have been from a mold with plastic. It should have been beaded. I think it's classier. It's more craftsmanship for a collector doll. I think that really would have put it over the top and made it worthwhile for most people at the $80 price point. Now, earrings would have been harder to bead, but would have been appreciated as well. So, and I also like that the motif of the pearls are on the shoes. So we finish, the whole look together is cohesive and draws the eye back to the shoe, as well as this color being reminiscent of both the shell as well as her hair, meaning that the shoe color is. So I really appreciate that. And then we love this color, beautiful with her eyes and her makeup, as we'll get a closer look. So I think construction of the fabric and the clothing, the hairstyling, everything works together really, really well for a very strong collector piece that would stand out in your collection, in my opinion. So from the back, not as great to display from the back. It would be fine, like if you have it on your desk or like something, like that, or your break front or whatever, like you could, but it like would be better if it's just head on. You're looking at it. Like it was pretty much made to be looked at straight ahead. Now her hair, I want to hit on. I love when they do updos for deluxe dolls, because that is a lot more difficult, in my opinion, to do than to like curl or straighten or braid your own doll's hair.
What? My hair appointment was canceled!
So the fact that they have this up, but this, swooped down, and her iconic bangs that are like super comb over and flowy, I think that's very important that they get that correct in the deluxe doll. And I love that they have the twists to cover the hair ties here. I think it's really weird that they didn't do that here, and it's just hair over it. I think it would have been better if these three were twists and then those three were the hair pulled over. But if you can see, I think this is a mistake. That is just a hair tie. That doesn't have hair put over it. And if it was intentional, that's cheap. Come on, you did all the other ones. You can't do that one. You can't wrap hair around that one. Like even if you like glue the hair to like on it, you know what I mean? Like this or whatever, or pin it in or sew it or whatever. Like it's weird. But I do like they have the nice flip, and the structure of this hairstyle seems to hold very well and is pretty important in mirroring the shape of the clam. So I think they get an A+ for the hairstyle. False lashes on all three dolls, Belle, Tianna as well. And I think A+. You really should, in my opinion, unless it doesn't make sense for the doll, you should always have false lashes. They just add so much to a doll, and making it a collector doll, yes, please. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, Azula.
Now, I do like that they have the coloring on the jewelry. It adds a little bit more, but because it's painted and not beaded, it looks very plain line to me. So that's a diss there.
There has been a lot of name calling against our office today, corporate maligning, slurring, much of it coming from one of you.
No nail polish, bad. If you're paying $80 for a doll, it's very minimal for them to at least just paint the fingernails. You don't need the toenails, but at least the fingernails. I think that's important. I already touched on the necklace. And again, close up of the fabric of the dress with the tulle. Okay, it's fine. It's nothing ordinary. For an $80 doll, it's nothing extraordinary. It's very plain, and I think they could have went higher quality with that. I probably am thinking budget-wise, the jacket cost a lot more, so they probably scaled it down with the dress to even out the pricing, is what I'm thinking, my theory. But that's what I have to say about that.
Interesting hypothesis. We must apply the scientific method.
Now, I think the tulle works here with the bottom of the dress, and I love the shoes. So if shoes are a big thing for you collecting, Ariel and Tianna and Belle, they all have beautiful shoes in this collection. So I really love, again, the color I mentioned before really draws your eye back up to the jacket and her hair. I love the heel, and there's a little pearl in there, which they painted, which is great. I love that. And then the pearl imagery matching the jewelry. Wonderful touch. They did an amazing job with that. And I think this is a very high quality doll. Now, talking boxes, I had the Rapunzel with a similar box from a line very similar to this where Mattel did Disney dolls and like reimagined them. It was such a great unboxing experience. It wasn't frustrating. It didn't take a billion hours. It was just easy to get everything out. And there's a little plastic like protector that you could take out that goes in front of the doll. So if you want to display her in the box, you can very easily. She won't get dust, all that kind of stuff. But if you don't want that protector on, it's very easy to just like store inside this part of the box. So it's not a big deal. I actually kept that box. It was so beautiful that I thought, I could display it on its own, and I want to keep it for now. I love the background. I think that's beautiful to display her in. However, the stand sticking out like a sore thumb, not interested in. No. This looks like it's an eyesore to me for her in the box, and they should have covered it with packaging, or they should have put it underneath like this part here or something, because it's not working for me. It just kind of sticks out very oddly, and I'm not into that. But I love that the box has like the design sketch, but it's actually like the real doll, like a picture of the real doll, which I thought that was very cool and clever that they did that. And you'll see that returning on Tianna and Belle's boxes as well. So overall, and I think this pairs very nicely together, like obviously with the doll. So just displaying it side by side, like I've done that for a few dolls, and I think it's worth it because sometimes the packaging is just part of the art of the piece that you're collecting. So gorgeous. I give them A+ on all of the boxes. Now, she does not come with this as a stand. She should have come with that as a stand. Probably would have put her at like 100, 110, but would have been worth it to me. This is gorgeous. I love that picture. So, and again, this is what the box looks like closed. I love that you get the little sneak peek of the inside from here. And then here is the back. Beautiful. They did a wonderful job with packaging. Now, Belle, we got some tea to talk about here. Not really tea. It's just my hot take. I love from the sleeve, like shoulders up. I think that's gorgeous for Be Our Guest and makes sense. Bottom down is gorgeous and very well crafted, but it reminds me of Chip and Mrs. Potts cosplay. It doesn't bring Be Our Guest together. Although I understand where they got their imagery from, personally, because they had these kind of bowls and plates and the flatware and utensils dancing like in the back, as like the whole, frame. For a majority of, or part of the song, and that's what Mrs. Pot and Chips, Mrs. Potts and Chip are from. They're from that set, so it makes sense. But to me, I feel like there was so much everything else in that scene, and Lumiere is the one singing it. Like, we could have gotten a little bit more of the other things going on, to me personally. However, with that in mind, I think the execution of this is beautiful structure with the fabric. They sewed it really well. It's holding up really well. This looks like a nice sturdy fabric that can withstand this over time. I would be careful though, if there is not like cardboard or plastic like propping this up, that it could deflate over time. So you might want to like for periods of time like lay it on the side and like rotate it, so it kind of keeps its shape. But that could be something over time in 10 or 20 years that it could be like It could not be. I don't know, but I'm just looking at it and it could be. I do really appreciate also the structure and the type of fabric they used for her sleeves. It looks like this holds really well over time, and it also is beautiful for the eye movement because look, it like balances out the bottom. So I think that is a really nice, nice thing that they did there. We'll talk about the hair more later. And then I love they have the painted details with everything and the shoes. They don't here, but that's okay. So from the back, I think you could display her from the back. I think it looks interesting. It's not as interesting from the front, but I do think they do a good job with that. Now, the hair, you win for this. This is the best hair. And that's saying a lot when you look at Tianna. This was so cute and so like original. At least I have not seen that before in a doll or even a costume. And I think that's really cute. And they just got the little bounce so well. I'm a little worried about box hair, but I think it will be okay. So personally, I think this is great and I love this. And again, these detailings on the accessories, paint, love it. Beautiful. And it's perfect because her hair is like decolored. It's perfect.
She's our guest.
Gloves. Nah, we could do better for a deluxe doll. So I think that it was very strong here. Her makeup, I love the gradient and it wraps, these colors together well that go with the silverware, beautiful, and or plates. And I think and not having such a bold lip is a good call, and like it brings this whole pink together. So I love that. Now again, the glove, I think if we had a different fabric choice, I would have liked. I think if we had Tianna's type of gloves with this, I personally would have liked it better. I kind of see why they did this because it kind of mimics like the asymmetrical and kind of bunching together of the dress, but it's not my favorite. I would have loved if this was a different color, the little T, but that's fine. I'm not going to be that picky, although I could be. I'm not going to be that picky.
Busting out my villain era with bars to add to my hit list.
But this, look at the gold around here. It's like sparkly fabric. It's beautiful. And then we have like a faint print here, which just accentuates the dip in the fabric even better. So like they thought it through very well, and this is very nice. So I don't know, I'm just like not very partial to this type of fabric in this way. What do you think? Let me know.
Are you sure? Maybe we should get a second opinion.
Now, the shoes I love because they're Chip. He's the heel. I would have loved if they painted this texturing here. But, they have pretty good usage of color, so I'm not going to complain too much. Again, she does not come with the stand, but shouldn't she? Shouldn't she? She's so cute. She's so cute. I love it. Love it. Very cute. And then the box, I'm not going to go over the box again, but it's beautiful. They did a great job with that. Now,
Look how she lights up the sky.
Tianna, gorgeous. I love how they represented the Bayou in her outfit with her hair and everything like that. Gorgeous. So if we look at her hair, I mean, this is why I'm like, Belle, Tianna, which one is better? I don't know. I don't know, because this would be very difficult to do. So that's why I really appreciate them doing these difficult to do updos, because that's part of the price. Like, you're paying for that. And the beautiful curl here, gorgeous.
Not when it comes to popular. I know about popular.
I would have loved to see like different fabric usage, because I kind of know this fabric and it's not quite felt, but it's similar to it, and it's not my favorite. However, I do think a pro for this is that it will stay straight down and not like flap around in the wind or twist or whatever. So that is a pro. I think the print is very well done and accentuates the curves really well, and really like brings out her shape. So that was very nice. I do like the folded collar, accentuating the collarbone area, and it just adds like a nice like blunt cut up here where everything else is like curvy, and so it's like a good juxtaposition of those and like flowy. So it's like we have the straight harsh edges, and then we have everything else is like curvy and flowy to just vary it up, which I appreciate a lot. Now the lily pen, A plus to that. Gorgeous. Fabric, no complaints on any of it. I love that they did different colors, and it looks like it's the same, if not almost the same fabric, but that it does with these hues and the way the light reflects. It looks very different, which I really like, but it's cohesive. So gorgeous. And then we'll get to the shoes a little bit. Now you could display Tianna from 360. I think she's probably the most friendly one to do that. However, no, there is no however. I think that she would be the best one to, if you have like an area where you're like walking around and you see the doll, she would be the one to get for that. Now, I love it's gelled, so this is going to be really like it's iron. This is going to be really hard. If you want to redo her hair, don't know this is the doll to do that with, because this is going to be glued shut. Like this is going to be so difficult to get out. Think of LOL OMG dolls, the fashion dolls, but worse. but really bad. So good luck with that. If you hear little jingle bells, those are my cat collars because they're playing with each other. I love the jewel that they have on her earrings. This is a gorgeous design. Very pretty. Coloring, I love the edges. You got to have edges. Oh my God, beautiful. I do love the coloring and how it matches and brings your eye to the dress. Beautiful. The lip gradient, A plus with that. That is harder to do than just slapping a color on. So beautiful face screening, and the face mold is also beautiful. And like, see, look at that. Like they sewed the edges, and I'm thinking they probably sewed it down. So I really do appreciate that. That is a frog, as we'll see later, which is very cute. But this is gorgeous, gorgeous design. I love it. And if you spread her arms like totally out, it will be beautiful as well. So she could be like Superwoman. See, it's a little frog. How cute is that? So cute. Now, a little controversy from me. We can paint this a different pink and make it like a pinky purple, but we can't paint the flowers. I'm sorry, I am not sorry. Every other flower should have been this color, or every flower. Come on. Come on, people. Come on.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
But they're gorgeous. They are gorgeous the way they are. Again, does not come with this stand, although she should. Gorgeous. Stunning doll. The packaging, again, beautiful. And just, she is very, very stunning, as they all are. Okay, so the comparative analysis and collectability of these dolls. Why did I speak like that? I don't know. I just did. So comparing them three side by side, they all have 9 points of articulation, so it is not Barbie made to move level, but it is more than just a basic like fashionista doll. So take that with you. Like, we got the elbow and most likely the knees, possibly wrist, but it did not look like that. So I do really think they all had very high quality fabrics and couture inspired detailing, which makes it, in my opinion, a deluxe doll. I think that very good. Now, you have to consider the difference in height, especially if you're pairing them with other dolls on your shelves or wherever you're putting them. Just bear in mind, Belle and Tianna are probably similar in height, but Ariel's probably taller than that. So just, do some research or take some look at other people's before you buy, if that is a concern for you. Again, the price point, $75 to $80, and probably will go up on the second market until it's been, enough time has passed. So decide if everything that I had said, which is like the elaborate designs, the premium packaging, the false eyelashes, justifies the cost for you. I think it does. I think it's a very well priced at $80. I think you get a lot quality and craftsmanship for $80. So I think it would be justifiable to get all 3 of them if that is in your budget. And also, I don't think I mentioned this. Each doll includes a stand and the certificate of authenticity, which can enhance collectability for some creators if they're going to resell them. I probably will not, but who knows? Pros and cons and final thoughts. So pros, they are beautiful reinterpretations of classic scenes. However, Belle's, I get more cosplay versus a reinterpretation of a classic scene, but I think that is just my aesthetic, and it can be argued that I'm wrong. So there's that. High quality materials. The accessories are very thoughtful, including the shoes. The boxes are amazing to unbox and to display. And we also have the stands, which I think is nice when they come with that. They all should if you're a collector doll. Now, con is the limited availability. They are $80 a pop. So 80 times 3 is $240 plus taxes. That's a lot. These cannot stand without a stand, so take that into consideration. And it could be high priced if you're getting them all. So you might want to just get which one is your favorite. So basically, is it worth the money? Is it something you should have in your collection? If you love the character design, it fits in your budget, then yes, this is so worth the money for you, 100%. I would think it's a no-brainer. So again, to recap, this is coming out August 1st, so this will be open by the time this video goes out. So go on Mattel Creations or any, secondhand like Macari or something like that to get it if you want that in your collection. And please leave your comments on which doll is a standout for you and whether you plan to add the dolls to your collection. Let me know. I would love to know. And again, this is Aegeus Dolls. I am Athena, and we hope you have an amazing, wonderful day full of everything you love, especially all the dolls you love. Give your pet a hug from me. Thank you, and have an amazing day. Bye!
Bye, Bart.